Hi, I'm Glenn Whipp with the Los Angeles Times. The Golden Globes happened last night. We found out George Clooney adores his wife. Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, not afraid to go there when it comes to Bill Cosby. And no movie is going to beat Boyhood when it comes to Best Picture, leading up and including the Oscar. Joining me, Amy Kaufman, who was there at the Globes last night, has many tales to tell.
I lived through it.
Yes. So first of all, a lot of excitement at the Globes. You were there in the ballroom. So much excitement that apparently Jane Fonda's boyfriend passes out. What, medical emergency?
Like a lot of drama at one point because I was near Sienna Miller's table and I said, how was presenting? She had just gotten off the stage and presented an award and she said, oh, in my ear, it was great until in my ear someone said, someone at table 108 had a heart attack. And so everyone at her table was Foxcatcher tables, Mark Ruffalo and Channing Tatum. They were all like surrounded by these paramedics and were like, what happened? Is this guy okay? So I asked this crew member what had happened to this guy. And he was like, this older man looked me in the eye and was shaking and suddenly collapsed in my arms. And I asked him who he was. And he said he was Jane Fonda's boyfriend. And then the guy resisted paramedics and just went back to his seat. And I guess all was fine in the end. But this crew member thought he had done a very heroic thing. And there was kind of a chaos for a while. The bigger thing was, like, I guess, like, the air conditioning wasn't really working in there. So it's understandable that someone might pass out because it was very hot. And that's why a lot of people were saying online that stars looked oily, I guess. Did you notice that?
I did not notice that. But there was a little bit of skin issues.
A little bit of sheen. Yeah. What did you think about all the crazy...
I love how you're throwing it back to me now.
Oh, sorry. Are we not supposed to have an interplay here, Glenn?
Yeah.
There were a lot of, I feel like in the room, a lot of people were surprised by a lot of the choices that the HFPA made, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't watch any new television this year, you're probably, or you don't have an Amazon Prime membership, you're kind of wondering, well, what's this Transparent?
Right.
Jane the Virgin, The Affair. I mean, if you weren't like a first-year show, then you weren't probably going to get an award. And, you know, Kevin Spacey won, but it was all very new.
Why do they love new shows so much?
They love just to get out in front of the Emmys and say, and it's kind of the same thing how the HFPA works with the Oscars too. They sort of like to predict what the Academy is going to do, and then they can say, well, okay, you gave 12 Years a Slave Best Picture. Ah, that's nice. We gave it Best Picture 7 weeks ago.
Right.
Oh, you gave such and such the Emmy. Oh, we got there 9 months ahead.
They want to look like trendsetters.
Yeah, they are ahead of the curve, and you know, they do a pretty good job.
You think this could spell good things for The Affair or the Grand Budapest Hotel or something like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, The Affair, we were just talking about walking up here. We have differing opinions as far as the quality.
It is like very polarizing.
Yeah. Transparent, I think, is going to be big at the Emmys next year. Jeffrey Tambor, everybody loves him.
Right.
On the film side, Grand Budapest Hotel, I mean, no Wes Anderson movie has ever been nominated for a Best Picture.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy for me. So it's like, wow, it's really going to happen this year.
So, I mean, it's definitely going to be like a Best Picture nominee, but do you think it has a real chance of beating Boyhood?
I don't think so. No. I mean, I kind of have thought Boyhood, I predicted it back in December as the Best Picture winner, and everybody else is saying, oh, it's a wide open race, no front runner, and I don't really get that because I don't see any other movie having the kind of passion that Boyhood has.
You think Selma has no shot?
Well, it hasn't done so well leading up to the Oscars.
That's true. David O last night.
Yeah.
Nothing for him.
Yeah, it does. Selma does have its passionate supporters, but I don't see enough of them. Whereas like Boyhood, everybody in the actors branch, and that's the largest branch in the Academy by far, they love this backstory of 12 years. Every year we came together to make the movie.
Right.
I mean, every actor talks about it as like their dream project. I wish Richard Linklater had called me for Boyhood.
Although, you know, if they had been, they would have been like, I'm not doing that.
You're crazy.
My paycheck coming. Yeah,
exactly. So
tragic.
Backstage, or backstage in the ballroom. Yeah, you weren't just backstage, you were in the room. What's that like? You were kind of...
It's weird. Like, I feel, you know, heading into it, I was like, wow, there's going to be a lot of, everyone in Hollywood is in here. Oprah, you know, Clooney, all the biggest stars. But there's, I mean, this is going to sound like jaded to anyone listening, but there's so many stars that almost, it's almost normal. Like you're not like, there's so and so, because everyone is someone, you know. If you've been before, I'm sure you had like a similar reaction. But it's very loose, you know. Of course, us lowly journalists were seated in the way back, so kind of what I would do is in the commercials, I would just get up and go over to people and be like, so what do you think about the show? How's it going? And people are pretty friendly, you know. A lot of the celebrities are open to talking, and they, you know, everyone says like everyone gets drunk. I think that's really true. Like Kate Mara was throwing them back, and she was like, I can't answer questions, I'm drunk, you know. So people are having a good time.
Yeah, people were saying that about Michael Keaton, that he was a little bit
in his speech.
Yeah.
Some people were giving like I missed some of them, but the heartfelt speeches with the family members and stuff, a lot of people were doing that, right?
Yeah, there were a lot of great speeches, kind of coming from the heart, dedicating the awards to various groups.
What about Gina Rodriguez? She got very emotional.
She did.
Yeah. I love that she won. I think that's cool. And CW was it their first
Golden Globe ever. They probably haven't won an Emmy.
You mean like something for the Vampire Diaries next year? Gossip Girl was really.
Yeah, they're on a roll now.
Yeah.
My daughter would be voting for those. Yeah, she's 14. First Golden Globe ever for CW. I am sure they're very excited, and that show is just renewed for a second season. So, what about parties afterward?
The parties were cool. The biggest party thing I saw was at HBO. During the show, I saw Lorde, who's a pop star, if you don't know.
Who's this Lorde? Yeah.
She ran over to Lena Dunham's table, and Lena, of course, was with all the girls' posse, Judd Apatow and Allison Williams. And I guess Lena only calls Lorde by her real name, which is Ella. She was like, Ella, oh my God, you look so pretty. She's like, you have to come to HBO. Taylor's meeting us there. Just Taylor Swift, of course. And she said she would text her, and apparently that came to fruition, because at the party there was this big craziness when Taylor walked in wearing this bright yellow dress, like as if you couldn't miss her already, down the stairs, holding hands with Lorde, trailed by Haim, the band, and Jamie King, and then they walk over to Lena Dunham, and Selena Gomez is there, and it was like that whole hip young posse just being like, we're so pretty and awesome. They didn't say that, but I think they had a good time.
It was emanating out of there.
It was, and you know, it was weird. It's like everyone, they just accept that this whole circle around them is just going to take photos of them like they're kind of like animals in a cage or something. You know, it's like they're don't even notice it. Yeah. So.
And that's the thing about these parties afterward at the Beverly Hilton. There's like one on top of the garage. Every like area of the Beverly Hilton has some kind of crazy great party going on.
That's like, I think the reason the Oscars, everyone talks about the Vanity Fair party. That's really the exclusive one, but the Globes have all the parties in one hotel. So you can kind of, it's awesome. It's all in one place. You can just walk around and catch all the action, but it's also, as us young say, FOMO, fear of missing out, because you never know when to hit the right one. Are you going to miss Taylor Swift at this one? Is Jake Gyllenhaal here? You got to you're nervous.
But you were there when Taylor entered.
I waited for Taylor. I did. And we saw, who else? Jennifer Aniston was at that one. That seemed like kind of the cool one, even though HBO didn't really have a great night.
I know, they didn't. I was going to ask Matt Bomer.
Oh, yeah. Matt Bomer. A lot of people tweeting about Matt Bomer.
That's what I hear.
Yes. What were some other of the, I feel like there wasn't a big newsworthy gaffe or anything like that. No Jodie Foster weird speech.
No. Yeah. Everybody kind of stayed on target, stayed on point.
I heard some people talking about sort of an awkward chemistry between Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson, who are the 50 Shades of Grey stars.
That I completely missed. I was looking at pictures of the parties and stuff and going, oh, they were at the Globes. I must have been writing.
You were presenting, apparently, no?
Yeah. I must have been on deadline I was on deadline. I was writing a story.
Filing.
The 50 Shades of Grey, it's not really in my wheelhouse when it comes to the award season kind of thing. So
I don't think that's going to be next year's best pick. That's harsh.
Some early predictions, 2016 Oscars. No.
What were the other talked about moments? Kind of a lot of mentions of stuff happening in Paris.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And Clooney, as you mentioned earlier, super affectionate to his wife, which was weird for him to be. I loved that. It was kind of cool.
I loved it. But then there was a little part of me that was kind of missing the old George, that little rascal.
Prankster.
He looked, he still had the twinkle. Even the twinkle in his eye seemed a little diminished by
Glenn.
I'm married too, but it happens.
He still has that newlywed glow. He's excited.
My wife is going to be watching this.
Yeah, she's very disappointed
I'm
in
in
you.
trouble now. I really should. We really should just end this now before I just kind of keep
What
digging
about
myself a hole.
any fashion? Any stick out
You're
to you?
asking me.
I
okay.
mean,
You
no
tell
one's
me, you
dress
were
was
there
like
on the red carpet.
um.
Jennifer Lopez's dress was
Oh, Kate
commented
Hudson.
on from. Well, I didn't. Yeah.
Some of these people, like, I mean, they don't eat. They must not eat. Like, Kate Hudson has had 2 babies and she's just like a dudute.
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, seeing these people up close, you're like, wow. That's, I think, the most common thing people say when they're like, they're so little, they're so short. I mean, people are much tinier even than they look on television.
Right. Plunging necklines. I don't know if that was the
Oh,
thing.
that's what you noticed, Glenn?
I don't know, but there seemed to be a lot of.
There were.
Well, you asked about the fashions.
I know. Yeah,
I mean,
there weren't any wardrobe mishaps.
Jeremy Renner noticed.
What about the
plunging
man hair?
necklines.
I liked. Jared Leto had a man bun last year that was very talked
Yeah.
about, including by me.
Yeah.
And this year he went braid, which is
Yeah.
it was an interesting
See,
choice.
See, I don't really, Yeah,
You can't
the
do it rock a
hair-
braid.
Yeah, yeah. Those days are long gone for me. But yeah, Jared Leto's always got some hair going.
He does.
Some kind
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So Jared
I'm
Leto.
afraid, but go ahead.
No, it's a real question. Jared Leto won last year, so a lot of last year's winners presented, right? Why didn't Jennifer Lawrence do that?
Is she making a movie right now? I don't think so.
No.
Maybe
She seemed MIA.
Yeah. Maybe
Do you think her team was just like overexposure if you come back? Like, you can't.
maybe she's got a beef with Taylor Swift or something and didn't want to show up. I have no idea. I don't know. You're like scanning. What is that? I have no idea why she wasn't there.
She does not have a beef with Taylor Swift, I don't think. I feel like she would have been so down to hang out with Taylor
Right.
Swift. Maybe
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Well,
I think we've covered the waterfront
indeed.
and then some. So
You ready for
Right.
the Oscars, Glenn?
Oscar nominations like 60 hours away.
Oh
I
yeah,
have no
Thursday
idea.
morning.
Thursday
Everyone
morning.
get up at 5 a.m.
So we will continue with award season coverage. I have no idea. There you are, camera 2. Keep watching. Keep looking at latimes.com. We will be
Monitoring Jared Leto's hairstyles.
and Jennifer Lawrence's whereabouts and latimes.com. Thanks for watching.